Welcome. My name is Carolyn and I am a ghost healer. For the past 30 years I've been helping dead people, the ones caught in the space between this world and the next. I've documented many of the hauntings and I've often made drawings of the souls who I've helped. I'm now ready to share these stories with you. We all have a story, and these stories belong to the lost souls who I've helped on their way. Today I'm going to tell you a story about a ghost from the Palace Theatre in Paignton, Devon, England. So when I arrived, I was aware that there was more than one ghost on the site, but immediately I had this urgent feeling of wanting to go backstage, down the stairs to the side of the stairs. And just before I got to the bottom of the stairs, probably about 4 or 5 steps before, I was gripped by a feeling of sickness. I mean, I'm not just like a little bit sick, it was like overwhelming sickness, as if I would have to run to the toilet very soon. So I knew this wasn't to do with me, that this was to do with the ghost that I was picking up. And very shortly afterwards, I saw this young lad, the ghost of a young lad, maybe 14, 15 years old, standing before me at the bottom of the stairs, looking totally bewildered, and just stood there looking at me. And I could tell by the clothes that he had on that it went back. He predated the age of the theatre. The theatre was built in 1898. I knew that I was looking at some clothes that would have been referred to a much earlier date. Anyway, it wasn't long before I began to get pictures around his life. He wasn't talking to me just yet, and I could see that he had returned from either a length of work or a type of apprenticeship. But he was full of hope, and he was just so happy. He was greeting his mother. They hadn't seen each other for a while. She was so proud of him, and I get that she had a sort of news of maybe other work for him in this home area, and so there was security in his future. There was hope in his future. And I don't know if his work away was an apprenticeship or whether he was at sea or, whether he went to work in service somewhere else. But he had come back confident, and around his shoulder there was a bag, and in that bag were some tools that would be very useful for multiple things. And I'm getting anything from working with horses to wood, to stitching. So he was a very useful person. But also with this return, it was like he had a reference. So there was a letter, there was something of recommendation that he'd come with. So wow, that's like the golden ticket, So he's so full of hope, and his mum's so proud. And yet this sickness, wow. I was quite keen to move this along because physically it was quite a struggle. And then I see what it's all about, the sickness, and how he became very ill, and it was quite sudden. So it hit him. It was acute. It was a shock, horrific for his mother. And I get that she was there with him when he died. It wasn't murder, it wasn't anything dramatic like that. It was, he'd ingested something, it maybe had an immediate effect on him. And the vomit was dark. I mean, we're talking pretty horrible death. And it was all over quite quickly for him. And wow, no wonder he didn't move on. He had a life ahead of him. He had potential. He had a reference in his hand, a bag full of tools, a proud mother, and a future ahead. And the bewilderment, it's like, no, what is going on? This wasn't the plan. So very sad. He was left there, and the feeling at the bottom of the stairs, I think that people would have felt that quite intensely over the years. Very intense, and I'm sure other people felt sick as well. Not very nice, but not very nice for him. So yes, I was able to move him on to a much more peaceful place without the sickness and the spirit world, and carry on. And yes, and made the area in that theatre feel a lot more pleasant. Thank you for listening.